it's early. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's been a while, a few years. Might be a little late. But it's cool. I'm back doing this. So, good morning. And about to have you up with another 2x12. Alright. Before I get started, let me just say it's gonna sound like I'm beating up on DC Comics, but I'm not. I'm really not. As a black man in America, blah blah blah. Racism exists, blah blah blah. Discrimination exists, blah blah blah. There's nothing I can say here that you probably haven't already heard, don't already know, etc., etc., etc. Look, that's not what this channel is about. That's not what this show is about. So I don't really want to get into all of that. I'm just giving a preamble, like the legal fine print, before we dive into this. Okay. Now, the first book that I read was DC Dark Knight's Death Metal, The Multiverse Who Laughs. Oh my God, that's a long title. Good thing is it was just a one shot. All right. So DC Dark Knight's Death Metal, Multiverse Who Laughs. See, I couldn't even say it again like that. But anyway, that one is it's a collection of a couple of different short stories, narrated by the Robin King, as he just gives short stories of different universes, different incidents throughout the dark multiverse. It's just basically a collection of a couple of short stories. It's got an old school feel to it, like a House of Horrors, DC Presents, that kind of thing. It's like an old school vibe to it. Some of the art actually kind of has like a throwback 80s, 90s vibe to it. The story, there were a couple of stories in there. There was one with Mr. Zaz. There was a story featuring Green Arrow and Green Lantern. All the stories were pretty decent. Nothing to write home about, but not bad. Excuse me. As you can see, like, I'm out and the sun is just waking up. So, just waking up. Like, let me see. Yeah. That's right. Anywho, yeah. So, the one thing that really irritated me about this book was the story featuring the character of Steel. For those of you that don't remember, Steel was originally introduced as one of the replacement Superman way back in the 90s during the Death of Superman event. Clark Kent died fighting Doomsday. There were about 4, 5, whatever. It was a handful of guys that came in and tried to replace Superman. Not so much replace, just fill the shoes a little bit. Still one of those characters. Anywho, this particular story, it involves Steel in a universe, or at least in reality, where the Scarecrow's fear toxin is the environment. The fear toxin is taking over the environment. It's a regular thing. It's like replace the ozone or whatever. And that's actually a pretty cool concept. I will give them that. That was a dope concept. That was a cool concept. But the one thing that I didn't like about the particular story was somehow Steel is somewhat immune to the fear toxins, and the reason he gave was because, basically summed up, because he's black. And I don't like it, because it kind of perpetuates the myth that black people don't feel pain, or black people have a higher pain tolerance, or something like that. And yeah, we tough, we this, we big, we bad. But at the same time, man, it sounds good for bragging rights. But on the flip side of it, when it's a doctor expecting you to be able to handle things way more intense or way more severe, it's not a good thing. And again, this is not what this channel was about. I don't want to feel like I'm preaching, but the rate of black women that die during childbirth is the highest rate out there. And a big part of it is because when they complain to their doctors about feeling pain, when they complain to their doctors about something not feeling right, or some kind of discomfort, it's largely ignored. And a big part of it is because of that whole black superwoman stereotype, that trope, that view from the outside looking in, not really realizing how much strength and pain and all of that people actually go through in the community. Again, I don't want to feel like I'm preaching, so I feel like I'm beating a dead horse right now, but that particular aspect of the story was something it took me out of the whole like narrative. It happened. It was one of the last stories of the book, but that particular story, that particular aspect of that story, that reasoning for him not being, consumed by fear like everyone else that has ever ingested or ever inhaled the fear toxins that the Scarecrow's created, including Batman himself. Every other character has always been affected by it, including Superman, including the Martian Manhunter, like every other character. So for that one particular character to not be overtaken by fear just because he's black, I don't like it. I don't like it. DC, do better. Which actually brings us to the next book that I read, which was DC, The Other History, The Untold History, right? I'm going to have to edit in the name of it because I can't really remember it right now. Other History of the DC Universe. That's the name of it. But the book was about Black Lightning. Now, mind you, Black Lightning has a TV show on the CW. And actually just what came out that the show is being, I don't want to say canceled, but the show is coming to an end after its next season, after its, I believe it's its fourth season. The book itself is a DC Black Label book. I kind of like what the Black Label books are doing because they're able to bring different aspects of different characters to the light. They're able to dive a little bit deeper and to give a particular point of view, a particular take that you won't necessarily get in the regular DC continuity, in the regular DC universe. A few weeks back, they wrapped up the Three Jokers arc, and that actually, though it originated, the concept originated in the regular DC universe, they put out that book, that three-piece, in the DC Black Label. How it ties together, as far as is this the real continuity, or is this like a slight offshoot? I'm not sure. But ultimately, that book, to me anyway, that book it fell kind of flat. The end of it, the reasoning behind the Joker doing what he did, it was a beautiful, beautiful reason for such a complex character. But ultimately, at the end of it all, it was a waste of time. They created this huge event just for it to, I don't know, fall back into, oh yeah, never mind, we're just gonna go back to this. But that's back then. Let's talk about now. So the Other History focused on, like I said, Black Lightning, Jefferson Pierce. It was a pretty cool book. Now, mind you, most of what you're seeing in the book, it sounds like a wrap up. It seems like just a quick review of the television show Black Lightning, which airs on the CW and all of that. But you get so much more into it. Now, again, this is going to sound, again, I don't want to be preachy or anything like that. The book also has its fair share of, it's like that because I'm black. And it's just, it's a little preachy. I don't, But once you get past that, you can actually see the defining moments, some of the good characteristics, some of the backdrop, which helps a lot of these heroes in the DC universe connect with each other. It focused a little bit on his time as an outsider along Batman and Katana, and a gang of others. The book actually now don't get me wrong, it starts off as a black man in America, blah 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 blah. And I don't mean to say it like, on some other stuff, but it's it seemed like that was what it was gonna be, was this is my black point of view book. But it started off that way, but it grew into something more. It grew from just a black point of view to an everyman point of view. And I think ultimately that's what heroes like Black Lightning are supposed to have. It felt like a little bit of a throwback to the old Green Arrow, Green Lantern books, where there's a part where he actually does try to interact with John Stewart, one of the Green Lanterns. And I think Green Lantern, no matter what iteration of him, Hal, John, Kyle, whoever, Guy, whoever, it doesn't matter. Like, they have such power in just a tiny little trinket that anytime you pair them up with a character who is street level, and for whatever reason Black Lightning has always been depicted as street level. Guy's like a walking lightning bolt, but yeah, he's street level. We'll stick to that. There's nothing wrong with that. Spider-Man, for all intents and purposes, has always been street level. Daredevil, street level. So it's nothing against the street level character, a street level hero. But they did a good job of depicting him and his particular interactions with the Justice League, Superman, and like I said before, Green Lantern, the John Stewart version of Green Lantern. And he does take it, not just from a I'm black point of view, but to what are you doing about the drug dealers in the city? Like, I understand you're fighting Starro. I understand you're fighting these intergalactic threats. But down here, people are hurt. Down here, people need jobs. Down here, people are, like, dying. Crime. Like, not just intergalactic warfare, but, and that's another thing that happens, is that the book actually takes place between 1972 and the mid 80s. So it shows Jefferson Pierce dealing with international terrorism. It shows the beginning of the Reagan administration. It shows his mindset throughout all of these different facets of American life, all of these like major points in American history and world history, and how he views them and how he acts in response to them. As well, mainly how he interacts with other heroes because of these situations. There's a very good part of the book where he actually basically, let me clarify. The book is basically him. It's his point of view, detailing his superheroics, his life, his decisions along the way. And there's a great part of the book where he's just questioning the Justice League. Is how are you representing truth, justice, in the American way, but you're not saving these international hostages, in these landmark events. You're not getting involved in international politics, but truth, justice, and the American way are what you guys claim. It's, like I said, it was a pretty good book. It had a nice juxtaposition between race relations in America and class relations in America, and, like I said, class relations between heroes themselves. At this point, I kind of feel like I'm babbling a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. I'm gonna get this posted up, like I said, before noon. 2 books by 12, 2 by 12 episode. What is this, 3, 4? I don't know. It's been a few years, but thank you for watching. Click like, click subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that it's me again. And we'll see you back soon. Oh, I'm about halfway through Ready Player 2. I'm going to talk about that book on my next video. It will not be a video for kids. I'm just throwing that out there right now, and that's mainly because the book itself, I don't feel like it's for kids. Not gonna give any spoilers away right now, but you'll see me soon in the next couple of days, or the next couple of hours or whatever, next couple of days or whatever, and we'll talk about that book here too. So, like I said, click like, click subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Give a suggestion for next time. Give a pick if you got a particular book you want me to talk about. Welcome back. Love to talk to you. Talk to you later. Sexy.